go back out recruiting, so we hit some stuff this morning and wanted to get back to make a couple announcements. I want to first of all announce that as our 10th coach, Kyle Krantz will be a special teams assistant, coach our Sams and Nichols. Kyle's been with me for 5 years. Started out on the offensive side of the ball, has worked in all forms of special teams, been on the defensive side of the ball the past 4 years. And as far as work ethic is concerned, a coordinator's mentality. He's a grinder, a worker. He thinks like we think is probably the best thing I would say, and I'm glad that he and Brittany are going to continue to move forward being Gamecocks. So I'm really excited about him. I really felt like we needed more help on special teams, and obviously he understands our schemes and system, and excited about him to be able to. Some weeks we're working strictly with a Sam backer, and it's got a different skill set and fundamentals and techniques that he's going to be able to spend time with that player. A nickel situation where a lot of times T-Rob or myself are spending half the time with the safeties or half the time with the corners and then trying to work with the nickels because it is a different skill set and fundamentals and techniques. So it's good to have Kyle continue on board with us. We're excited about him. He's a really good evaluator and is going to work extremely hard for us. Also going to welcome back Marcus Lattimore, one of the greatest Gamecocks of all time, to be director of player development, working on life skills in our Beyond Football program. So this is a home run for us. Marcus is a guy that I don't know that, as far as mentoring players and dealing with tremendous success and triumph, but also dealing with tremendous tragic and adversity. And he has done both of those here at the University of South Carolina. This is a win for our athletic department. This is a win for our university. It's a win for Columbia. It's a win for the state of South Carolina. But being around him, he's got an infectious personality. He positively affects everyone around him. Excited about having his wonderful wife, Miranda, back being a Gamecock. She never left, but we're excited to have both of them back in our program. I tell our staff all the time, if it weren't for the players, we wouldn't have a job. So it's our job to service the players, and I believe in outlets for our players. And Marcus is going to be a tremendous asset for our student athletes and the different things that they face in their college career here at the University of South Carolina. But a guy that could have gone anywhere he wanted to go, and he wanted to stay at home here at the University of South Carolina, be a Gamecock. And in the 2 years I've gotten to know him, the thing that really strikes out at me, he loves the University of South Carolina. He loves his state. He loves being a Gamecock, and he understands how special this place is. And it's great to have him and be able to share his message with our student athletes. And I'll finally will end with, I want to thank President Pastides and the Board of Trustees, Coach Tanner, for continuing to support our program and invest in us and moving this program forward. We're excited about where we are, but we're extremely excited about our future, and I certainly want to personally thank all of them for their support. And Marcus, if you want to open it up with anything.
Absolutely. It's very warm in here, so I don't know how you guys sit
Steve
in here.
Fink doesn't turn the air down.
Yeah, I don't get it. But again, just to reiterate off of what Coach said, I'm so excited to be back. I thank him, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Coach Tanner and Coach Pastides as well. I'm really looking forward to this position. I really am, because I empathize with every single player in that locker room. I know what they go through. I know what it's like to go through a 6 a.m. workout and be able to go to class, then go to practice, and then go to training table. It's a tough grind that these guys go through. And, to be able to be player development and director of Beyond Football, it's going to be amazing, because I'm looking to set these guys up for life after. And I'll be assisting in that aspect of their life. When a recruit comes to visit South Carolina, I will sit him down. I will sit his family down. I'll let all of them know that, I'm not looking at what they're doing on the field. We take care of that because we have amazing coaches, but I'm looking at the next 40 years of their life and what I can do to help them and prepare them for that. So if you guys have any questions for me about what I'll be doing, that'll be
Raise
great.
your hand, we'll get a microphone to you for questions for either Coach Muschamp or for Marcus. David with the first one.
Marcus, welcome back.
Thank you.
I believe there was a consideration for this position to happen earlier, but the NCAA said no. What has changed that this can now be allowed?
I believe in timing, and God has put me in a perfect position. I'm just so blessed to be here now. There's so many things that that had to happen, but we've been able to work it out, and everything. I'll be able to keep my foundation, which I'm excited about, and keep that running. That's something I want to do, for generations to come. It's something I hopefully can pass down to my future son or future daughter whenever that happens. But whatever we do with the foundation, it'll be fully compliant with the NCAA. So it just really worked out this time. There was numerous things.
Go to back there, Mike.
Now, Marcus, you met with your players yesterday, Heathwood Hall. I know that was important to you to be able to let them know that information. What was that moment like? And if there's anything that you can share with us, what were some of those messages?
Right. And again, Heathwood, I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I had there to work with those kids, and just a great staff there as well, Chris Henchy and Jeff Whalen. It was a tough day. It really was, because I connected with from the 5th grade all the way up to my seniors. We all had a connection. They all made an impact on my life, and I told them that. And they really changed me, and I grew. I grew as a human being, and I think I became a better person. Being that there, we had a lot of adversity, we had some success, and I shared with those guys that to keep this thing going, keep it rolling, and don't look at this as a setback. Look at this as an opportunity. So.
Marcus here in the back. What can you take from your previous role at Heathwood and running your foundation and help apply it to your position here to help young student athletes?
Yeah, numerous things. I believe that with the organization and some things that you have to do, some things you don't think about as a head coach, which I was last year. Those things I've been able to sharpen up my toolkit, as I would say, and with my foundation, some of the logistics and planning of things to help athletes. I've been doing it for a while, and with the Beyond Football program, there's going to be 3 components of it. It's trying to make sure every guy leaves this program and they have self-awareness. They know who they are as a human being, and they find their identity, and they will know the importance of service, the importance of giving back. And I think that's something that because this state of South Carolina, they love football, they love sports, and sports means a lot to the people in this state. So serving those people and giving back to those people, that provides opportunity. And I want them to know that. And obviously the biggest component will be their professional development, helping them find meaningful employment after they graduate, and be able to help them and guide them and navigate them through all of that. So.
Actually, this question is actually for Coach Muschamp in terms of Lattimore joining this program. Coach, over here. Mm-hmm. Coach, why did you feel like this position was so important to kind of create this opportunity for Marcus and have this impact on the program?
Well, I think it goes a lot further than Saturday afternoon to me, and that's the most important thing to understand. And it's about educating a young man for the rest of his life, not about 3 or 4 or 5 years here at the University of South Carolina, but educate him for the rest of his life. And this part of it is exactly what Beyond Football says. It's beyond Saturday afternoon. It's beyond the workouts. It's beyond the practices. It's about real life things that we've got to deal with. And Marcus I told him, take it and run with it. There's some programs we've got in place that are good, and I want him to continue to improve these programs. But him being a Gamecock and again, like I said before, facing adversity and facing success and all the things that he's gone through, there isn't a better example, in my opinion, to talk to our players and mentor our players moving forward.
Eric in front.
Marcus, even after your first opportunity to come back was denied a couple of years back, did you always kind of have it in your mind that you would end up in some capacity back with this program one day?
I love this university. I love this football team. I love the people here. And I always want to be connected to this university no matter what. When there was an opportunity and a possibility that I may be able to come back, I was so excited. And that's stuck in the back of my mind for a long time, for sure.
For both Will and Marcus. Will, you've already shown you promoted from within today. Could Marcus one day get back on the field as an on-field coach? And Marcus, is that something that you'd like to do one day?
Sure. I think that, Marcus and I talked about the possibilities when you get on the university scale from a coaching standpoint, from an administrative standpoint, from a fundraising standpoint. I think this opens a lot of doors for him. How old are you?
26.
26 years old, so he's young, and he got a lot of living to do. So, and a lot of times when you're 26, you're still searching for exactly what avenue you want to head down, and I think this opportunity certainly is going to provide that for him.
I don't think it's any secret that I love the game of football. I've been playing it since I've been 7 years old. But right now, this is where God wants me. This is what God wants me to do, and I'm going to take it. And everything that I do in my life, I do it 100%. And I want these guys to leave this university knowing who they are as a human being. And personal and professional development is my assignment right now. That's all I got to say about that.
Marcus, I think you told Mike the other day that being an NFL general manager is possibly something you'd be interested in. Could you expand on that a little bit?
That's definitely something that has been in the back of my mind. When I was young, I got the opportunity to talk to an NFL GM, and at that time, Joseph Adai was a player that I admired greatly, and Bill Polian was the guy that I had a conversation with, and he just made a huge impression on me, and we had a long conversation about the inside, I guess the inside logistics of being a general manager, and what it takes to get to that point. But as of right now, this is my assignment, and
Will, how important was it to you that the university rewarded you for a great 2 seasons, but also your staff, and specifically to lock in T-Rob for 3 years?
Well, I think in any time that you show support and appreciate the job that our staff has done, and I'm excited again, like I said, where we are, but more than anything, moving forward. And you've got to invest in order to get the return you want and continue to build this program to where we're going.
Will, Marcus mentioned it a little bit, but just what kind of an asset is it to be able to bring a recruit in who can talk to a guy like Marcus and lay out some of sort of that kind of life plan stuff?
Well, I think as much as anything is his story says it all. And here's a guy that could have probably had all the aspirations in the world to go play on Sunday afternoon, and certainly had the ability and the drive and all the intangible things you want to have, and things happen. And some tragic events happen in his life, and all of a sudden that dream is not there anymore. So now what are you going to do? And at the end of the day, less than 4% of everyone playing college football make it more than 4 years in the National Football League. So the NFL dream is a pipe dream at best. And for our parents to be able to listen to his story, and for our players to be able to relate with him on a day-to-day basis and understand there's more outside of Sunday afternoon, I think is really important.
Will, Marcus talked about how when you got here, or even before you got the job, one of the things you wanted to do was getting him in here in some capacity. What did you know about Marcus aside from the things that people, maybe the media know? Of course, like the SEC coaches, I'm sure they talk. But what did you know about Marcus Lattimore, the person?
Well, I mean, I've heard obviously nothing but great things. And then you meet Marcus, and again, like I said, he's got an infectious attitude, a personality, positively affects everybody around him, every leadership trait you want in someone within your organization. That's why I wanted him to be a part of our organization in some form or fashion, and this turns out to be the best situation at this time.
Marcus, from the moment that this became a reality, when did you start to brainstorm ideas, come up with what you hope to give back to the players who you already have some relationships with but are going to know a lot closer? How exciting is this process of coming up with ideas and thinking of how to work with them for you?
About 2 years ago. That's when it really started, and I just really thought about what I would have wanted as a player, and what those guys need, because it's hard being a collegiate football athlete. They go through so much, and they have little time. So to be able to maximize their time, be able to build their network while they're here, be able to reach out to alumni who could possibly be a mentor in the field that they want to go into one day. Those things are important, and those things really show you your purpose. You know, when you're able to serve in the community, when you know who you are as a human being, and again, when you reach out to former alumni who've been in their shoes and who are, I reached out to plenty of them. They're willing to assist, and you know, help these guys navigate through life. So.
Marcus, how cool is it for you to be able to be on the same team in the same organization again with Bobby Bentley?
It's awesome. It really is, and you know, obviously, I've known Coach Bentley since I've been 7 years old, and I've known his whole family and Chase. We've all been great friends, and you know, the impact that he had on me, I wouldn't be sitting in this position that I'm in today. And I mean, this whole organization. I mean, from top to bottom, the coaches, the strength staff, everybody involved in this organization is just first class. And you know, I've been in a position in my life. I'm in a position in my life right now where I'm trying to learn as much as possible, better myself, and you know, the traits, humility, you know, all of those things that come with a great organization. It's exemplified here. And I'm, you know, just so happy to be a part of it.
Will, what did you think of the championship game? Were you a little disappointed that Georgia couldn't get it done?
Well, no, it was a great game. You know, I didn't say I was pulling for anybody, I think, but it was a heck of a football game, and came down to two SEC teams. You know, so it was a heck of a game.
I have one for each. For Marcus first, what does it mean to you to join a program like this that you are so close to and that is on the rise? And for Will, what does Marcus bring to the program that was missing?
It's awesome. It really is. And, you know, Coach Muschamp talks about it all the time. It's all about the players. What can we do for the players? And, I mean, just to have that selfless mentality and to be around a guy who's like that, I mean, it's amazing. And be able to work for a coach like that, it really is amazing. I'm looking forward to the future.
You know, I think that anytime you're able to positively affect your student athletes, and I think that obviously you sit here and listen to him talk and you understand the effect that he'll have, and he's walked in where they're walking right now. And I just think that experience for a young man is real, and I can talk to him about it. But at the end of the day, the guy that's lived it, and he's lived in the hallways, he's been in the stadium, he's been in the locker room, he's been a part of this program and had great success and some tremendous adversity. And I just think you can't really understand that part of it for a young man.
Go to Josh and Josh.
Marcus. Here. Yeah. Josh Hyber with Spurs and Feathers. You talked, obviously, your role being more about off the field and what these players' lives are going to be like in their professions and all that. What are some of the misconceptions that you think college athletes have about life after football? And as a 17 or 18-year-old, was there something that you thought that your football career would be, life after football, that it obviously didn't become?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest thing, Coach mentioned it already. You come from a town, and you look at the whole landscape of college football, particularly in the SEC. There's a lot of rural small towns, and these rural small towns love football. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And their whole life, ever since they've been 13, 14 years old, everybody's been telling them how good they are, and you're going to make it. You're going to make it to the NFL, and when they get to become a senior and they have scholarship offers from 40 different schools, I mean, they feel that, and they get off to that school and everybody's good. Everybody's at the same level, and you got to work a little bit harder. And those guys who make it, I mean, they're special. They work harder and they take care of things in the classroom as well. But it doesn't happen for most of the guys on that roster. So, I mean, really the biggest thing is bringing reality to every kid in the locker room. You know, making sure that they know you have to have something else to do, because it's not likely. I mean, I push for it, and I hope it happens for each and every kid in that locker room, but it's not. And so, just changing their perspective, really, you know, making sure they see the other side of collegiate sports and how you can use sports to your advantage, because these guys have such a huge platform. The power of sports is amazing. And there's 84,000 people that come see them every single Saturday. You can use that to your advantage because you're a role model for so many kids. And, I mean, that leads to potential careers. You know, you never know who's watching you. And you never know what you can do with the power that you have. So tapping into that potential.
Well, given what we saw with Dave Aranda at LSU recently, how much of your energy as the head coach versus maybe when you started or even when you were an assistant coach is worrying about your assistants and the kind of offers that they're going to get and keeping their pay scale in an area where you can keep your staff together?
Well, certainly there's a market out there, and it's, you know, your determination as a head coach and as an administration of what is fair in that market. So I think it's each individual coach, each individual administration, each individual school to make that decision on what they feel is fair in the market.
Will, how did you build and sort of settle on the role Kyle is going to have? Does that necessarily fit his skill set? Was that the kind of spot you were looking for? Or how do you kind of settle on that?
Well, it was really fit his skill set, and it fit what we needed. We needed more help for Coleman Hutzler on special teams, and Kyle's certainly going to be able to provide that. And then schematically, he understands who we are and what we do and how we teach things. And that teaching progression is very important to me.
Anything else for your coach? Okay. Colin, to the right.
Coach, there's been some talk recently about revamping the redshirt rules and letting players play maybe bowl games or 4 games. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that, and do you think that's a good thing for some freshmen to kind of get some experience early?
I think absolutely. You know, and right now, and you're able to. I think the proposal is 4 games, and regardless of when those 4 games are, and I think that's fair. I think sometimes you don't really know if a young man's, none of them are, or most of them are ready, but when you put them out there, sometimes you never know how they're going to respond in front of 80,000 people, and I certainly think that to be able to pull a young man back in a situation and be able to redshirt him after that and do give them some experience their freshman year, and also for the idea of, you know, all young men are motivated by what they want to play. And if they feel like they've got an opportunity to play, certainly keeping them on task, I think, would be important.
Well, since we last spoke to you, have there been any more players who come to you and said they might want to go NFL or elsewhere?
No, we're good. I expect everybody. We have a team meeting next Monday night, and I expect everybody to be there.
Anything else for Coach Marcus?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.